All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, Errol Spence Jr. checks Terence Crawford over conversations about sanctioning body fees. As Terence Crawford gets a sense of community all of a sudden about the sanctioning fees, and Errol ain't quite buying that that's what the reason is. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Errol Spence Jr., Terence Crawford. Haven't talked about those guys in a couple years. Terence Crawford took a stand, and I got the quotation marks on a stand, with the WBC and did not pay sanctioning fees and was subsequently stripped by the WBC of his title. Then went on to talk about and explaining why he got stripped. Terence Crawford started talking about the sanctioning bodies and only needing Ring Magazine and what are they doing with the money and this, that, and the other. And Errol Spence Jr. was subsequently asked what he thought about Terence Crawford's take. And I thought that his response was quite interesting because to me, it showed that one guy was talking about doing something as a matter of principle, and the other one was talking about doing it as a matter of self-preservation. Big difference. Doing something because you're looking out for the greater good of other people is one thing, but being a cheapskate and trying to get over and then claiming that you're doing it, that's something else. But before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for what you do. It really makes a huge difference to the channel. And thank you to everybody that supports by supporting in the super thanks, which is a great way to support the channel. $1 worth 100 views, $10 is worth 1,000 views. And hyping the video. But let's get into this because Terence Crawford has been on my nerves for a while. And so to see him kind of try to pull a slick one over on the WBC and have it kind of fall apart on him, I thought was very, very funny. I can't lie, man, because he went to the WBC and told the WBC, told the other sanctioning bodies that he was not going to pay the amount of money that they had agreed to before the fight. Now, Terence is saying, no, I didn't know how much the fees were before the fight took place. I'm a man of my word. Well, Mauricio Suleiman was very clear and said, no, we told him that it was 0.6%. Right? Not 0.6%. It's not 3%. It's 0.6%. That's it. There was no, and the total came up to $300,000, but Terence Crawford wanted to pay a lower amount than that. The WBC, the WBO took him up on it, was okay. The WBA said okay. The IBF said okay, but the WBC said no, thank you. And by the way, give us our belt back. Right now, when Terence gave his talk about it, Terence acted as if, number one, he didn't know about what the fee was going to be until after the fight, which I don't buy. Second of all, he talked about where's the money for the sanctioning fees going to? Where is and what was the other thing he said? Something to the effect of where's the money going to? You want to know where the money was going to, and the such, right? Same thing that a lot of people say about the sanctioning bodies, right? Oh, he also said that everybody else took him up on what he offered them, so why wouldn't the WBC do that? Well, here you go. Number one, Terence Crawford trying to stand on principle about the sanctioning bodies. I don't buy that. I believe that is just a convenient thing to say to cover up for the fact that you just don't want to pay the fee. Because if that was the case, you could have told them before the fight that you were not going to be fighting for that sanctioning body and not fought for the title. But he didn't have a choice in that particular instance. He had to fight for the titles because Canelo had all the had all of the belts, and it was Canelo's was the A side on the event. So Terence waited until after he won the belts to start negotiating. No, if you want to stand on principle, stand on principle. And that's what Errol Spence Jr. pretty much said, was like, look, man, I understand that what Terence Crawford said. And yeah, there's problems with the sanctioning bodies and all the money that the sanctioning bodies are taking. But he should have said he should have said something about that before, because when they fought for this is not the first time Terence Crawford has fought for an undisputed title. Terence Crawford got undisputed at 140 pounds, and then Terence Crawford never defended his titles at 140 pounds. He didn't have to pay another fee. When he got to 147, he had to pay the sanctioning fees that he negotiated before the fight with Errol Spence. So he knew about these fees, and these fees get negotiated before the fight starts. Now, if it is normal to negotiate it after the fight takes place, I would think, how many people are really have the leverage to do something like that? Most of those fees are set, and you want to be predictable with how much money you're going to make. So they're going to do that. They're going to do that beforehand. I believe that when Errol was talking about the sanctioning fees and where the sanctioning fees are going to go and what this does to help fighters and giving us an explanation of it, that was a lot easier to take when he is holding the belts himself. And before the fight that he already has negotiated his fees for, he says it before the fight. But to say it after the fight and then drop the belt because you don't want to pay the money, it just would have come off like he was just being cheap. I don't believe that Terence Crawford is out for the greater good of boxing by doing this. I believe that Terence Crawford is out for the greater good of himself. And you can see that in pretty much every negotiation that we've seen him have. He penny pinches people, and he tries to get every ounce of value for himself that he possibly can get out of a negotiation. And whatever the other person gets is whatever the person gets. He was in a negotiation with Turkey Al-Sheikh's people and said that they sat there for 9 hours. And at certain point in times, Terence Crawford's just looking at him like, okay, yeah, patience is going to win this one out, right? And eventually he gets what he wants. He doesn't get everything he wants. Neither side was really happy. And that's what he thinks a good negotiation is. That's what Terence Crawford was on. Terence Crawford was negotiating for his own self-interest. He's not out for the greater good of boxing. And I have to tell you, bro, I don't think shutting down and not paying sanctioning bodies is good for the sport of boxing, because you have to look at what the other alternative is and what they're actually trying to set up. They're trying to set up a TKO league that is pretty much just owned by Dana White, the UFC, Dana White and Turkey Al-Sheikh, where they get to determine who the champion is, who gets to fight for what. There's not going to be any legitimate ranking systems or any of that other stuff if those guys are able to achieve what they want to achieve. And Terence Crawford is just going to be the convenient idiot that leads them all the way there. The same way that Oscar De La Hoya was, they legitimized the WBO belt back in the late 1990s or early 2000s when Oscar De La Hoya fought Bernard Hopkins. The WBC was not a major sanctioning body until that fight. But who was the one that propped that up? It was Max Kellerman. It was HBO. They propped up that extra belt. Same thing with the IBF. Who propped up that IBF extra belt? It was the media. So now the media is trying to do the same thing, but they're trying to switch over and just get rid of the sanctioning bodies and give it all to one foreign power to control U.S. boxing. And I think the whole thing is disgusting. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.